Testing. Make sure everything can be heard. This live event will begin in a few moments. Let me copy link. What am I doing? I could have just done direct message. The best part. What is this? What is this Old Spice commercial that's got like a guy with no neck? What is this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, but anything like I was saying earlier when I jumped on to do Destiny with everybody, I look at my friends list and I kind of glance over and I see Purple Plantain but it's showing like an emblem like he's in Destiny and I went, wait, what? And then I looked and it was like Purple Plantain level 25 and I went,
Plantain.
What the fuck? And then I clicked just to make sure because I didn't believe it. I was like, is this really Adam? And then I clicked at profile, said Adam, and I was like, oh my god. And then I messaged him, you got fucking Destiny? I was like, dude. And he was like, I'm not very good at it, but I'm digging it so far.
God, now I gotta start my Warlock. Remember I told you I would run Warlock when with him.
I think that punk bitch used his Spark of Light because he's like 25 already.
Piece of shit. No, we gotta get you and me and Kyle and Adam in a fire team together.
Well, it's 4 people, so.
Yeah, because that'll help bring me back. Like,
I mean, now that
now
that we're doing the sweaty match thing with the clan, and that was super fun. I think that's a way to like level them up and just dick around. It's super fun. Just like we did one where like you can only use the gun the last word, but and that's it. No grenades, no melee, no anything else. Just last word. And we're like, and also if like you can't reload the gun unless you're out of bullets. So like you would kill somebody. And you'd have 2 bullets in the chamber, and you had to keep them. Like you had to try and find someone, and like shoot at them, and then try to reload.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, dude. I had a fucking blast, just like dicking around.
There are all these tiny little handprints on the fucking television screen. Drives me crazy. I'm always like, why are you touching the television? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, but you must have some reason. Like, why are you doing that? You know you're not supposed to. I don't know.
I just
I know. I live to torment you, Dad.
I feel it in my balls. I just gotta
live to fuck around with you. Okay. Alright, so this is a Conversationalist podcast. I'm Matt and this is Josh, and if you've never seen the Conversationalist podcast, it's not so much about what you're seeing, it's so much about what you're hearing. This is just kind of, something to look at while you listen.
looking at you.
Here's looking at you, kid. Shane?
Here's looking at you, Gold.
We tried to do this last week, but didn't quite work out in our favor. Had kid just yelling, making noises, and then my internet cut out, and you had to run. But let's start. Before we get into, because we were going to do our E3 podcast, our E3 show last week. But
right.
I want to start with, before we get into the nitty gritty, I want to start with, you went and saw Warcraft that night, and I've been wanting to know how you feel about it.
I did. I saw it.
I've been wanting to know how you feel about it.
So,
there's more.
As far as the critics go, it is not by any means the Battlefield Earth of this generation.
No, it looks.
However,
doesn't look bad.
Is it a great movie? No. Is it a particularly good movie? That is questionable. Is it a bad movie?
That depends on who you are.
Not necessarily. it's weird. Like, my first response when it was over was, well, that was weird. Because, here's the thing. Every time an orc is on screen, it's fucking phenomenal. The movie is fucking phenomenal. Like, it literally, it opens with this kind of thing where it's like, it honestly didn't even need to open with this. It opens with this thing where it's like, oh, the orcs and the humans like have been at war for years, and there's like that thing you see off in the trailer where it's like the fucking green orc and the guy in the middle of the desert, and they like charge at each other. It starts with that, and then it literally cuts to Duratan and his pregnant wife, and they're like sitting in their hut at night, and they're like talking about like the baby, like what they're gonna do. They're like talking about how the world's dying, and they're like, and he's like, she's like, have you picked out a name? And he's like, I'll like think of it, like, you know, I'll say it when I meet him or whatever. And then she's like, well, what makes you think it'll be like a boy or whatever? And he's like, keep it to yourself, wife, and all this stuff. And you're like, dude, this scene is incredible.
Keep it to yourself, wench.
He doesn't say it. He doesn't say it like that. He says it like. He says it like.
Lee's like, what? I'm like, not you. You're not the wench. You're not the wench in this equation.
No, he doesn't say it like that. He says it in like a loving kind of way, and he says it like while he's lying down. So he's like, keep it to yourself, wife. Like, he says it like that. But dude, it's this great moment, and you're like, holy shit! Like, as this movie was opening and they're showing this, I'm like, this movie is gonna fucking rock. I was like, if the whole movie's like this,
it's just
this movie is gonna rock balls.
It's just like a sitcom, a family sitcom featuring two orcs.
No, it's like this really, like, tender, intimate moment. And you're like, and what's even crazier is the orcs have all of them. They have all the intimate, tender moments with each other. There's a moment where like two orcs they're like best friends, like the two kind of like main orc dudes. They're sitting on this hillside, and like the scene opens with them kind of just sitting across from each other. Nobody's saying anything, and you get the sense that these two are like childhood friends. And one of them picks up a pebble and like throws it at the other one's head, and then they both go like like laugh, like, you know, like they're dicking around, and it's like, oh man, you're like, that's such a great moment. And then they start talking about like how they're like, you know, the world around them's dying, it's all Gul'dan's fault, and they're like, I don't know what we're gonna do, we have to save our people. And you're like, man, this is all such great shit. And every time an orc is on screen, you're like, this movie is fucking great. Like, it's so well written, the effects look so goddamn good. You're like, this is awesome. But every time a human's on screen, you're like, why is Star Wars Episode 2 on? like, that's the problem, is that everything with the orcs is incredible, and then everything with the humans is boring as shit. And it's like, it's like it fluctuates hard, because it's like every time there's a scene with an orc in it, you're enthralled. You're like, this is great. There's so many good character moments here. I love these characters. He's a baby in this movie.
Is it his baby?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Well,
that's what I had a feeling, though, like that they were gonna like, as soon as you're like, oh, I'll know it when I see it, and then like,
but it's
they're
like,
Thrall.
I know Warcraft lore. I already knew how this movie was gonna end. Like,
right.
I knew who the bad guys were. I knew who was gonna betray who. I know what I know this. I've played this game, right?
Shit.
It's like, this is Warcraft 1 just being retold again. It's like, okay, I already know what's gonna happen. So like I know, you know, but like, it's just like, every time there's a goddamn human on screen, you're like, these people are so boring. Like, they're just boring. And then it's like, every time there's an orc on screen, you're like, man, this looks great. It's like, it almost makes me think like they should have just made the movie animated.
Right.
Like, it should have just been like, it should have just looked like the way Blizzard makes their cinematics. If they had just made an hour-and-a-half movie of that, it would have been incredible. but like they made this weird movie where like all the humans look dumb, and like some of their performances are really dumb, and some of the costumes look really dumb, and then they throw in a lot of kind of dumb things, and it makes you wonder if like, because a lot of it is like Blizzard's trying to keep this thing really true to their lore, and for the most part follows it pretty goddamn close. There's a couple of things that are different, which is expected, but then it's like, at the same time, it's like you feel like Legendary was trying to throw in all this like tropey shit, which is why like one of the main characters has to fall in love with the half orc. It's like, no, that's weird. Like, just don't, you know?
Right.
And then, yeah, it's again a weird movie. When I came out of it, I was like, that's like a 6. That's what I settled on, because when the movie works, it works well. Like when all the war is going on, you're like, this is cool. When all the orcs are on screen, this is cool. Like, the effects are really pretty, and I kind of like, I'm sure if a non-WoW fan watched it, they'd probably give it like a 4 or 5, just because it's, and I'll admit, not a very well put together movie, but I don't think it's Duncan Jones' fault, if I'm being honest.
I still really want to see an Overwatch series or movie or something, but
I mean,
that's something we've spoken about before.
I mean, maybe. I wouldn't put it past them, but the way what I think they're gonna do is, because the way what they said is like, when the game came out, they said we finished season 1 of our shorts. I imagine come BlizzCon in November, they'll announce a second season of shorts. They won't have one there, but they'll announce that more are coming. So
I love their shorts.
I imagine you'll get a couple every year, basically.
Yeah.
Because the game's not going anywhere. The game's gonna be
No,
around
that's
for
gonna
a
be
decade
around
plus.
for a long, long time.
But
It's very popular.
but like for me though, when I'm watching the Warcraft movie, there's so many nods to things that I know about that I don't think anyone else knows about. Like, I had to lean over to Nicole a few times and say, that's this thing. Like, because they did basically make a movie for fans, but it's like Blizzard was trying to make a movie for fans and Legendary was trying to make a movie for a mass audience, and it didn't work. Like, that's sort of where it kind of culminates. And what's also crazy is that lots of footage is not in this movie. There's apparently, there's got to be a director's cut at some point that I'm fascinated to see, because I bet there's a director's cut of this movie that's like 2.5 hours long. That's way better, because apparently there's a bunch of footage from like BlizzCon 2014 that they showed behind closed doors that is nowhere in this movie. And I watched that cell phone footage of the Comic-Con footage. Bunch of those scenes are not in the movie. Like, scenes that explain shit are like not in the movie. And it's like, who edited the final movie? You know, it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a set. Yeah, apparently at BlizzCon 2014, there's a whole, like, there were trolls in the movie too. There's not a goddamn troll in the entire movie, but like, apparently, like, there was a whole scene, like a whole thing where like trolls are like sieging a city. Not in the movie. It's like, yeah. But there are parts that like allude to like future things. Like they mentioned the Burning Legion, which is like the main bad guys of the Warcraft universe, basically. And they like dip their toe in it, where they're like, oh, who's Gul'dan talking to? And it's like, oh, it sounded like a demon. And like, oh, what did it sound like? And like, it had a voice of, its voice was like fire and ash. And I was like, oh shit, that's Kill Jaden. Who the hell knows that?
No one
except me, right?
No one except you knows that.
Exactly. That's one of the things about the movie.
But,
it's
but
like,
you love it enough that
nobody knows who the
you're
fuck
like
Kill
geeking
Jaden
out.
and the Burning Legion are. You
But
know, nobody
most
knows
of your-
who.
So would you say that most of your enjoyment came from just geeking out over it?
Yeah, like, what's funny is like they got a lot of shit right. Where there's a part where they're in Stormwind, and they're like, we must fly to Goldshire, and they go in the correct direction. And I was like, oh my god, they got the geography correct. And then there's like a part where they fly into Stormwind, and it's the same window you fly into, and you fly in the Griffin and stuff. They do the polymorph thing where like Khadgar the mage turns somebody into a sheep at one part, and you're like, oh my god, they're doing the polymorph! Like it's like a lot of it came from me being like a fan.
Yeah.
Also, there was a what moment in it. We lost our minds. We were laughing our ass off. So like, there's a scene where Khadgar goes back to the mage school he dropped out of, and the head mage there is like, what are you doing here? And then Khadgar's like, the Fel, it's in Azeroth or whatever, and he goes, what? And all four of us fucking at the same time just burst out laughing. It was like the funniest thing, and there were only like 5 other people in the theater anyway, but we thought it was like the funniest thing that ever happened. And then there's another part where they're standing in front of this cube. The cube stops spinning, and like a door opens, and he goes, should I go in there? And the head mage says, I don't know, that's never happened before. And we were like, who wrote this? Like it's just weird. That's what I mean by it's weird. It's like every time a human's on screen, you're like bored to tears. But every time there's an orc on screen, there's like these really amazing, well-written moments that have amazing CGI. And it's like, why didn't they just make the orc movie? Like, I just want the orc movie. There's this touching scene where Draka, who's the wife lady who gives birth to Thrall, she's taking Thrall to the river because like their village is getting burned down, and she's like tearing up. She's got her baby in a basket, and she's telling the baby, remember, like you are the descendant of Draka and Duratan, like a long unbroken line of chieftains. Like never forget who you are. She like kisses the baby one last time. Like she's got tears coming out of her eyes. Puts the baby in the river, and then she like murders this other orc and dies in the process to like save her baby. And you're like, this is amazing! I'm gonna tear up. And then a human comes back on screen. You're like, God damn it! Like, just go away. It's like that's part of it. It's like it's a weird movie. I would be fascinated to see a director's cut because I bet Duncan Jones is a huge Warcraft fan, and I have this feeling like he wanted to make the 2.5-hour movie that the fans wanted, and Legendary didn't want that. They wanted a more mainstream movie.
Didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, but the good news is, even though it flopped here in the States like we all expected, it only made like $25 million in its opening weekend, which sounds like a lot, but the movie cost like $170 million to make. It made like $156 million in China, so, and then it was also like #1 in 19 out of the 20 markets it opened in on its opening weekend, the 1 out of the 20 being us. It made a lot of money, so.
Right.
I mean, it didn't make a bonkers amount of money because it was kind of made on a budget, but it made enough money to where it's looking likely that there'll be a sequel. And I'm kind of hoping there is a sequel because I'm really hoping that if they make the next one, that they can actually focus on a better storyline. Because this storyline that they're focusing on is kind of like a little more generic. It's like not the favorite of the fandom. Like, and they kind of allude to like some of the stuff in the future. They say characters' names like that are children. They're like, "Oh, Varian, you're the man of the house." They're like, "That's fucking King Varian Wrynn, man." You know, he's like 5, but that's King Varian Wrynn.
Right.
You know, so it's like everybody's theorizing that for the sequel, they're gonna like jump 20 years in the future and do some of those like fan storylines and try to actually make the movie a little more cohesive and not as like weird and jarring. I don't know, but we'll see. I actually want to watch a sequel, which is not something I would say after coming out of a movie I gave a 6, but
you're a big fan.
like I want to see if they can make it better because I feel like
you geeked out over it.
I did, and like nobody I went with hated it. Didn't necessarily love it. I didn't really love it. I thought it was entertaining for the time I was there. You know, but I was like, it had a lot of issues as a film, and they're all about the humans, like every time it was a human talking or a human on screen, there's just these weird like scenes that you feel like you're like, I don't feel like Duncan Jones put this fucking scene in this movie. I feel like he knows better than that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I feel like this was a legendary scene where they're like, these two characters have to have a love interest. And you're like, please don't.
Did you
Please don't do that.
did you go by yourself, like you said you would?
No, I went with Nicole, and then I went with our friends Emily and Danny, and I actually apologized to all of them ahead of time because I was gonna go by myself, and I almost did. Actually, I had to go meet someone for this project I'm working on. I went to and I was like, you know what? When I'm done after this meeting, I'm gonna go see Warcraft because it's been a week. I haven't seen it. I
Right.
feel like I'm letting the fandom down. And then immediately as I thought that, Nicole sends a text, you want to see Warcraft tonight? Which we didn't end up doing. But I was like, oh, sure, whatever. But then we went that Friday. But yeah, I apologized to everyone. I was like, I apologize ahead of time if this movie sucks balls. I was like, I know you probably don't want to be here. And they're like, no, we want to be here. We want to see it. And I was like, I don't believe you.
I do understand geeking out and like over the little things, especially if they got them wrong. Like you seem so happy that they just went in the right fucking direction. But like I know that like I was reading a book the other day, and they had there's a character in there that's an elf. And I looked on the back of the book, and it's clearly it's this character, except he has a beard. And I'm like, elves don't have beards; they can't grow facial hair. And I was like, oh my
That's
god,
not true.
I'm an asshole. Well, in this universe, they
In
they
this
don't.
universe, that's stupid.
In the
That's
universe that they're
stupid.
literally writing about for that book, the elves don't have facial hair, but the guy drew an elf with a beard.
He didn't read the book. Well, I mean, chances the artists don't read the book. They're just like,
He's-
"What's this book about?"
He's done.
And
He's
they're
done like all the covers. You would think that he would at least read, or at
I
least
don't
know
know,
that
dude.
much, or at least someone would have been like, I can't approve this. You got to take the beard off. But no, I get that. I'm glad you liked it. Like I told you, I wanted that for you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't love it, but I didn't necessarily hate it.
Right.
just-
you want
I
more.
just feel like
You want to see
it's
if
like
it can
when you
get
watch.
better.
Yeah, it was like when I watched the Blade Runner theatrical thing. I was like, I feel like there's a better cut of this movie out there, and there is, but I don't know in the case of Warcraft. That's why I'm like, I'm really praying that like a Blu-ray comes with some like hour extra long
I think that
thing.
I feel the same way in some ways as about Batman v Superman.
Mhm.
I liked it. I didn't hate it coming out of it. I thought that it could have been better, but that it was still pretty good for what it was. And I want to keep seeing these DC movies to see if they get better.
Right.
So
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people compare it to that.
but
Maybe it's an apt comparison, but I don't.
you know what else you reminded me of though
I
when
don't
you
know.
were when you said that you had to like lean over and be like, this is this. Like I had to do the same thing when I was Alan has taken me to see Yoga Hosers. It's Kevin Smith's new movie that he's touring,
Mhm.
and it's kind of a spiritual successor to his last movie Tusk, which was very divisive. But it's got a lot of podcast references in that movie, and so every time something showed up, it was like a podcast reference came up, I'd be like, "This happened in this podcast," and that's when he says "Pond or Rock," he means that one time on his podcast, he brought in a tape recorder that he used to record when he was like 17 years old and go to the beach, and he called it Pond or Rock. Because I listened to all this fucking podcast.
Right. Yeah, because you would know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the same idea. Like, there's a moment in the Warcraft movie. There's a character. There's an orc character called Blackhand, and this whole thing is that like one of his hands got like removed, like cut off or blown off or removed, and then he like attaches a sword to it. So like he has like one limb that's like a sword, right?
Hmm.
And and when you see him in the movie, he's got both his hands, and there's a part where he's got like a human pinned down, and he doesn't know what a gun is because orcs don't have guns, and like he puts his hand over the gun, and I went, and then and then of course his hand gets blown off, and I went, oh, it's Black Hand, and then he comes back in the next scene. Sure enough, he's got a sword. I was like, oh, like that's part of it. It's yeah, it's just I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I am very curious to see how it does, like or just like if it even gets a sequel. I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will. Legendary got, they got bought by that Chinese conglomerate. Apparently Duncan Jones is like runner-up for the next Emperor of China because of this movie. So I'm sure there'll be a sequel.
um. Okay. Well, now that we got that out of the way, last week we wanted to talk about E3 and it didn't work out. Now,
Hmm.
here's our chance. So let's start chronologically, like we were going to last week, and start with EA. We had talked a little bit about EA, but since nobody saw it, we'll just start over. And
EA sucked.
EA was not good because they didn't have anything to show. They're like, Battlefield 1's coming out, and that's it.
Show you the trailer 1.5 times.
Do you want to see FIFA? And we're like, no, we don't want to see FIFA. And he's like, well, here's FIFA.
Oh, yeah, here's FIFA. Like, oh, god damn it. Yeah,
Ellie, help me lift this.
yeah,
Yeah,
EA sucked.
I didn't. I mean,
They didn't show anything anybody wanted.
one of the biggest things that like I was so disappointed about was the how they treated Mass Effect. Was like, hey, you ready for Mass Effect? I was like, oh yeah, you bet your shit I'm ready for Mass Effect. I'm so excited.
You bet your shit.
like this is what I've been waiting for. This is the whole reason I tuned into this fucking conference, because there's nothing else that you could ever show me that I'll be actually interested in. And they're like,
Right.
here's another dev diary, and I was like, god damn it, I want a trailer. So
Yeah.
I was really fucking disappointed.
Yeah, they just kept doing that shit. It was so annoying.
Hey, look,
And
there's an opening over here. All right.
that conference sucked.
Yeah.
When am I not?
Tell you
I,
what.
they just got, I don't know, the industry is just all about building hype. And
Yeah.
like, hey, guess what game's coming? And God knows how long. It's like, stop telling me these things so early. Like,
Yeah. But I think our game's in dire straits.
Riley?
um,
I think it's in trouble. It just, it seems
So.
like it would be
That's 2 times today.
a thing. Like it seems like it would have been a thing. Like we would have seen it,
right.
but we have not. And
Uh,
that's strange.
What is that, like a wolf man or something?
After that was Bethesda. And then really, I mean, you know me, like, it's not a whole lot Bethesda has to offer me.
Yeah.
Quake looked cool.
Quake
I'm
looked
into
fine,
that.
but I wasn't into Quake as much as I was like I don't know,
People with a history with Quake will be
Well,
excited
see,
about Quake.
my dad and my brother really like Quake. What was it? Quake 2 was on the N64, I believe.
Now let's see what else is.
They had Quake 64, yeah.
Yeah, they had Quake.
That
They
was a
had
thing.
Quake 64, and they really liked it. I never really played it because by the time I moved in, because I didn't live with my dad, so when I moved in and they had the games, my dad was working a lot, so I never really got to play Quake. My brother and I mostly played Mario Kart or Smash Bros. Or but I don't know. It's I grew up watching my dad play Wolfenstein and Doom, so I was much more interested in those in those like id Bethesda projects when they came out, Quake doesn't really
Yeah.
do much for me. So.
I mean, I'm excited about it. I think it's cool. I mean, the only Quake that's Quake's been dormant for
Right, for a very
a
long time.
decade. For a decade.
For a decade,
Um,
really? Didn't they have a
yeah,
Quake, an ill-fated Quake game on like 360 or something?
I mean, there was Quake Wars. I don't know if that
Oh
counts.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
like
yeah.
that was their attempt at like Battlefield, and it was awful. But then I mean, they had Quake 4, and that was like a 360 launch title,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it was not received very well. So Quake's been pretty much dormant, other than Quake Live, which is a free-to-play version of like Quake 3 Arena, which you can play online for free. Which people play professionally and stream it and stuff, so, I mean, good on them, but this is like a whole different, like, that's the classic Quake experience, that's not going away. They're going to continue to support that, but they're kind of, like, they're trying to take it in a new direction, because this one, they blatantly said, we're trying to make Overwatch, because they're like, we have all these hero characters, and they all
Right.
have different abilities, you know? So, they're trying to make their own version of Overwatch, I guess, which is fine. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna try it. It's only on PC right now, though. I mean, when they were saying all that stuff like uncapped frame rates and stuff, I was like, you're speaking my language. This is all stuff I like. But yeah, whether or not it's good, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm very curious.
The one thing that I really liked about Bethesda's conference was that they showed Dishonored 2, and after I watched that trailer and the gameplay, I was like, you know, maybe I should give Dishonored another try, because it looked
Yeah,
really
you should.
good. Like, I tried it when we got it for free, and I played it for a little while. I was like, I don't know if this is for me. Because it leans on stealth. You don't have to play stealthy, but it leans on stealth, and I'm not good at stealth, so I I was like, I don't know if this is for me. Like, maybe this is just not my game. But I kept it on the hard drive just in case I felt like trying again. And now I'm like, I see this Dishonored 2, and I'm like, think I'm gonna try again. Yeah, I get this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Nicole
this Wi-Fi
pre-ordered the
working.
special edition the minute it went live on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I saw that. She was
was-
very excited.
She was refreshing Amazon.
She was so
just over and
excited that
over
she
again,
that she
screaming,
cursed.
Why? Yeah, she was like, "Why can't I have it? Where is it? Josh, where is it? Why is it not here? Josh, make it appear. Where is it?"
She was so excited that she cursed in the big chat that we have.
Yeah.
She was
She's
she was like, it's only like $90 for all this shit. I was like, whoa, Nicole, watch your language, okay?
Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm a big fan of Dishonored. I beat it, the first one, like 3 times, doing different stuff. And it's because I wanted to do the platinum, which is actually kind of hard, and I got pretty close to it, and then I just didn't do it. I had to do a whole playthrough, basically, of... Why don't you have the PSN message app? Sorry, I'm talking to Nicole. You should get it.
You're like,
So you do it on your phone.
what are you doing? Yeah, that's
It's like
better.
trying to look at my messages.
Jeez, Nicole. What are you doing?
You can be in it, I don't care. No, it's fine. No, I beat Dishonored one time doing stealth without upgrading any of my superpowers and without killing anyone. That was very hard, but very rewarding. You felt like Batman. Like, you'd come in, do crazy stuff, and then you'd leave, and no one knew you were there. It was awesome. You're like, oh, it's like Batman. Slipped it out.
Yeah,
And then I
it
did a whole playthrough. All I did was kill everyone, and it was boring.
I wish that I was that good. Like, I'm sure that doing it that way is so very rewarding.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard. I wouldn't recommend it. I only did it because I wanted a trophy, and then at some point I was like, I would never do this again. I would just play this like upgrading my stuff. Like I like stealth. I like being stealth, but I would be like, I'm gonna upgrade my blink so I can teleport super far, and
Mm.
like I'm gonna get like the mind control like power, and I want to turn into a rat when I need to. Like I need these things. I need sleep darts for days. Like I I can't be having any of this. But yeah, that's the biggest problem is like people that don't. They're like, I don't want to stealth. I just want to fight. It's like kind of lame. It makes the game kind of lame. Like
Right.
it I don't know how Dishonored 2 will treat it, but when you play Dishonored 1, it makes it just kind of, it just makes it feel like a shooter, and you're like, oh, and it's not a very good shooter. You
Yeah.
know, it's weird. So I always
Yeah.
say like, oh, do stealth, but kill people if you gotta.
Yeah, like I like the idea of stealth. I'm just so impatient that I can't like I'm impatient and I'm not that good at it. Like I'd love to get into Hitman, but Hitman's so unforgiving. Like they're like, "Fuck you, you got seen by that guy across the room."
Oh yeah, Hitman. I tried playing the, like not the latest Hitman, but the Hitman before, and I like could not do it. It drove me
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, Dishonored 2 really I don't know. It made me really want to play it. So,
you should go back. You should do it.
I got to get the wireless hooked up on the PS3. I moved it. It was connected to an Ethernet cable in the living room, and then I moved it into my room so I could, because the exercise bike is right across from the TV now, so I could watch Netflix, and it wouldn't connect wirelessly. So I was like, "What is going on?" And then I looked up a video yesterday. They were like, "Oh, hey, if you just mess with the security settings on your wireless LAN, like they tell you to, then you'll get to do it." So we're gonna try it this weekend, see if I can play it, because I can't play it because it was a PlayStation Plus game. So
I got you.
so,
Yeah.
but I have been playing God of War, and we'll talk a little bit more in just a minute about that. Um, but after that was Microsoft the next day, first thing in the morning.
I
What'd you
liked
think
their
about Master Rock?
conference.
What'd
I
you think
liked it a
about
lot.
those what is it, the new consoles?
The Slim looks nice. It looks like a PS4.
It looks less like
Uh,
a VHS player.
yes, and it can actually stand up vertically, which is
Now it looks
cool.
like a Blu-ray player.
Yeah, it looks good. I think and they have the new controller that's like slightly better or whatever. That's cool too. Um,
Mm.
and then they had the whole like you can go to Xbox.com and like customize your own controller that's engraved and stuff. I played with it.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. Um, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, the S looks cool. I'm surprised they even talked about the Scorpio. I predicted that they wouldn't talk about it at all,
Yeah.
and then they did.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they actually did a good job of selling it. I think people will be a little less like finicky about it. I think they'll actually sign on for it.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the original impression was that they're going to release a new console every year, and people were like, I don't want to upgrade my fucking console every year. And now it seems like they're only going to do it like every 5 years, and it's going to be the same console.
Mm.
Because if you think about before, like there were only 5 years between the original Xbox and the Xbox 360, and only like 5 years between the Super Nintendo and the N64, and only like 5 or 6 years between the NES and the Super NES. So it's like that's pretty normal. Like the PS3 and 360 were like an anomaly. They were almost a decade.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of people complained about that because at some point they were so outdated. Like PC games were like getting so advanced, and there was like all these consoles they're like so outdated. The hardware is so outdated, and they're like not that great to develop for. It's like they're gonna try and ramp it up back to 5 years, but the idea is that like still gonna be a PS4, and maybe you'll only upgrade your console every 10 years, but you'll always be able to play Uncharted 4. You'll always be able to play your Uncharted collection. You'll always be able to play everything you bought on this PS4. It's gonna the games are gonna run better, and of course there's gonna be at some point some games gonna come out that's not gonna run on the original PS4
Hmm.
because it's just like not powerful enough. But like that won't happen for like 15 years or so. So it's like every 5 years or every decade you're gonna be like, let me upgrade to the next Xbox. It's the same Xbox in a sense, but it's more powerful. So it's gonna run my old games really awesome, and it's going to run all these cool new shiny games, and I get to stay in the same ecosystem. Bless you. And I think that's a way better idea. Um, so I think that's fine. I think everybody was just worried that like, oh, it's going to be every year. It's going to be like the Xbox. I think the Scorpio is going to be called Xbox 2. I really do. And people think that I'm dumb for thinking that, but I think that's I think they're going to do the iPhone thing. They already did the Xbox One S. I think they're going to have the 2, and that'll be the Scorpio. And then in like 3 or 4 years, they'll announce the Xbox 3. And then it'll be like just on from there. Who knows how PlayStation's going to do their weird naming conventions, because they're already at 4, and they're going to be like 4K, and who knows? I have no idea.
Right. My only complaint, I thought that they had a lot of cool stuff to show, but I was really only invested in Gears, and I really liked what I saw of We Happy Few, and I hope that it comes to PlayStation. Uh, but
I think it might.
but
I know
I
it's coming
mean,
to PC, but
again, one of the only complaints about, and it's really more of a personal complaint. Like, it's not their fault, but one of my only complaints is that they still just don't have enough to hook me into like, oh, I guess I'll buy an Xbox now, because for me, like, I've already
I
made
don't
up
think
my
they're
I've already
I
made up
don't
my
think they're
mind.
targeting you necessarily.
Well, no, obviously not. But I mean, like,
They're honestly targeting someone more like me because their
yeah,
games
you,
are all on Xbox and Windows.
yeah, I
So it's
know.
like when I see that, I'm like, oh, I can get this on my cool PC that I built. Like when I saw Sea of Thieves, which was probably my favorite thing they showed
Really?
in the entire show. Yes, that looks so fun.
It
I was
looked.
so
I
ex
mean, I guess I was just put off by, the stuff they were saying, because it was just obviously so scripted.
Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff like you know what? Nicole plays Rust 4 feet from me, and she screams about bears. I was like, this is pretty accurate, like the Sea of Thieves thing. So and all my friends who saw it said that they're definitely gonna get it because we're all like the idea that we're all gonna be on our computers being pirates together and dicking around and like losing our boat and like dude, like it just sounds awesome. We're like, this sounds so much fun, and I was laughing like the entire time that trailer was on. The guy screaming like, "What do we do?" And the water's like barreling over him, and they're like, "Oh, we're sinking," and like half the boat's underwater. I thought it was really funny. It wasn't like Ubisoft when they're like, "Tango down." Oh yeah, like nobody talks like that.
It's
Like
basically
at,
fucking Division all
at
over
least
again.
during the Sea of Thieves thing, I was like, yeah, people do talk like this when they're playing games. Like this is real.
They are
Like
kind of goofy. It,
yeah.
it felt like us, but only even we get goofy, but it felt like us, but ramped up to like 100.
I thought it was legitimately funny. I didn't think it was cheesy at all. I'm pretty excited about Sea of Thieves. Gears looks pretty, but I'm still kind of like I'm not totally like
I
on the
like Gears a
positive
lot.
side with that franchise, so I'm kind of just like I don't know, man. We'll,
I
we'll
was like,
see.
Marcus.
Uh, Actually, the one comment other than like, yeah, this looks really pretty that I made was when the black character opened his mouth and didn't sound like a screaming
Didn't sound like
stereotype. I
Cole.
was like, oh my god. Because I like when they're coming out of the storm, I almost expected another Cole where he's like, shit. Instead he was like, he actually was like, "Oh man, what are we gonna do? That storm's crazy." And I was like, "Oh, he's a human. That's
He's
normal.
a
That's
human
what's
being.
supposed
All
to
right, that's
happen."
all right. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's good.
Uh, yeah.
No, I mean, just like from a personal standpoint, shoot, I don't remember what I'm doing here. But from a personal standpoint, like it's just I've already made up my mind that I prefer trophies over achievements. So if it's cross-platform, I'm gonna get it on PlayStation. So I need good exclusives if I'm gonna get an Xbox. And so far, I just feel like it's just Gears. So
Yeah, I mean, I was excited about
there
Halo
we go.
Wars because I love Halo Wars.
Yeah,
So,
Well, Halo Wars is not a game that for me, you know, that looks like it
not
would be
for
better.
everybody.
Yeah,
And but
no.
when they were like,
Halo's
uh,
fine, but I like it's not the one. It's not the Xbox seller for me. It's so like I'd play like
yeah,
if I got an Xbox, I'd play Halo, but I'm not like well, it's got Gears and it's got Halo, so you know, so
well, I'm a big fan of Halo Wars. I never thought that series would come back, and when they announced the open beta, like I got really excited. My friend and I streamed it, had a pretty good time, like
hmm
bickering at each other when we were supposed to like go over the hill. We didn't lose a single game uh, during the entire beta. We were apparently really good at it.
jeez,
Uh, but when people ask me like, will I like Halo Wars 2? I ask them, did you like Halo Wars 1? And they say, yeah. And I go, well, strap in, because it's the same exact game. Like, literally the same units, the same UI, like all that stuff. I mean, there's new units, like they added new
I
stuff, but like
remember now.
it's basically the same. And that's fine. So, and
Right.
also this one's actually going to be on PC, so I'm going to end up buying it on PC.
Yeah,
But
it looks like it would make a better PC game.
yeah, I mean, it actually it reminded me how well like they made the RTS work on a console because it works pretty well. It's weird at first because I was like, oh, this is I don't know how do I do this, and then after you figure it out, you're like, oh, this works great, and then after you play with it for a while, you kind of forget. But I'm sure on PC it'll control a lot better. But hats off to them though for actually making an RTS work on consoles because that was one of the big deals about Halo Wars 1 is they actually made it work. So and they kept like basically the same controls, but
Well, fuck.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm doing Last of Us Left Behind, and you know the part with the the where you gotta get the generator started, and they're like, oh, it's out of gas, and I spend like the
Ooh.
last like 10 minutes like searching for the gas can, only to realize it was behind me the entire time. Like,
Oh,
stupid. Oh, it's empty, so I guess at least I know the layout of the building I'm in.
you do.
But um, yeah, like it's just oh, no! I don't. There's not enough yet for me. There's still not enough. It's just Gears that I'm like that I'm just kind of regretting not having at this point.
I think you'll be fine. I really don't think Gears 4 is going to be anything
And
special, if I'm being honest.
kind of Quantum Break just because I'm a big Remedy fan.
I heard a lot of mixed things about Quantum Break.
Yeah, I have
People on
too. That's
when
why
we
I
were
say
still doing
kinda.
Xbox, yeah, when we were still doing Xbox Best Friends before we turned into the Geek Tank,
Woo!
uh,
Woo!
they they were kind of like not sour on it, but they were like, I don't know why people were hyping this up so much. It's good, but it's not exactly like amazing. Like it's got some issues. Like in terms of writing, apparently it's got some issues.
I'm gonna die.
But they were saying like the set pieces and like the time stuff is really cool, but uh, the writing and some of the acting in the middle scenes is just weird. Like apparently it's like bad. So
Mm,
uh,
That's too bad.
Yeah.
I would love to see another Alan Wake if it ever came, but I don't know if they're
too.
gonna. I don't know if they're gonna come back.
I think, I mean, a spiritual successor, though, I don't really want to know, like, the mystery, to be honest. I like not knowing. That was half the fun of that game, was not knowing what the fuck was happening at any given moment.
Very Twin Peaksian. It was a fun game, even if
I liked all the theories and discussion like we had after we beat it. Like
even
that was the
even
fun
if the
of
lip
that
syncing
game.
was fucking terrible.
Oh, it was.
But
it's like The Shining. Like everybody's got a different interpretation of what The Shining's about. It's like the same thing with Alan Wake, where it's like, is it about ghosts? Is it about his alcoholism? Was he abusive? Like what? There's all like all these weird little like clues to all these things. It's just like that's what I love about it.
It's dead.
Was it all inside of a book written by that one guy, Thomas Zane or whatever his name was?
Thomas Zane, yeah.
Was that the name? I got it right.
Yeah, you got it right.
He comes down in the floaty suit
in the Bioshock. I ran across a fucking an old shit. I ran across an old tweet, I think, or something, where I was like making a joke, an Alan Wake joke, where I was like, I'll be holding the like I'm going crazy. I'm gonna be standing next to a Big Daddy and holding a light switch. It's like I don't remember what that was in context to, but oh, it's a good Alan Wake joke.
Who knows?
But
Who knows?
I gotta get it. Okay, oh, there you go. After that, what happened? It was Ubisoft, the fucking conference that would never end.
Yeah, it was like a cool collected 7 hours.
It was so long.
It was super long.
I was like, when does this end? Like,
never. When it ends.
I think that Aisha Tyler is doing better as a host.
Yeah, she's fine.
Her first year was abysmal. Like she didn't know her audience yet, I don't think.
But she isn't the problem. It was like the games and stuff was the problem.
The games were like, I was like, you ended on Steep of all things, like.
People like Steep.
Normally you end on something strong, even if it does turn out to be a massive disappointment later.
Normally you end on something, literally anything else.
This guy's smart. Look at this guy. He hides behind a pole so that I can't fucking shoot him. Look at this guy. You can't see it. God damn. But
07? That was 7:45.
Okay, well.
Okay. Sorry. We have fondue. Oh, I told you that.
Yes. We'll try to get through this.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was Steep. Everything that they showed was kind of boring. Like the only other thing, only thing that I liked was South Park, and I was really more
I love the fake out trailer for South Park. So funny. So
I really liked what they showed of South Park, but I was also, I think I was more excited because I was like, I can finally play Stick of Truth. Like, I never got to play Stick of Truth.
I played that game all the way up until the last boss, and then got distracted. So I literally just need to sit down for like 10 minutes one day and just finish it.
Right.
But I did really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to this one. This one looks like way better. It seems like they made the combat system a lot more fun.
Right.
And you can also play as a girl. Couldn't play as a girl in the first one.
Right. Well, that's good. That's fun. That's nice.
Yeah.
I really want to play that, but I haven't pre-ordered it yet. Got to do that sometime.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pre-order it. I think I pre-ordered Stick of Truth, and then I didn't end up playing it until like a year and a half later. So I'm just gonna wait until it's on like Steam.
I'm only pre-ordering
I'm
it.
gonna do that for most games now, honestly,
Oh.
just because I'm so short on money. It's like unless it's something that I absolutely know I'm going to love, like it's an Uncharted or a Blizzard game, I'm not gonna pre-order it. Or it's a Destiny expansion.
I'm only pre-ordering it so I can get Stick of Truth. Like, I do want to play it, and I don't know if I'll play it immediately, but I'm pretty much only playing it because I want to play Stick of Truth.
Okay. So, yeah, I do have to leave in like 15 minutes, so...
Okay, so let's go through... After that was Sony, and they had a really stellar conference, personally. I don't know about you.
I liked it. Yeah.
God of War made me care about God of War again.
Dude, I already cared about God of War, and I was in love with that video. Like,
you know me, like...
When he walked out of the shadows, I was on a call with some of the Geek Tank people because we were talking about stuff as it happened. When he walked out of the shadows, we all gasped.
My actual reaction went something like, is that Kratos?
I watched the demo later without the crowd, like the direct feed. It looks so good.
Yeah, it does look really good. I like the changes that they've made. It's it made me care about God. Oh, my thing about God of War, okay, was that I like it fine. I'm a trophy hunter though, so. And I'm a trophy hunter that's bad at games. So I'm playing it on normal, like, oh, get a trophy, an extra trophy when I finish the game. And I'm like, why can't I beat this fucking boss? And so then I gotta fucking finally change it to easy and be all bitter about it. So, but then I'm having a really good time. But I went back. I'm finally
all the God of War games except for Ascension.
I'm going back
for like less than an hour.
Going back finally to beat Ascension and beat the rest. I think I never beat Ascension or Ghost of Sparta, but I'm taking the opportunity to like kind of go through the franchise again and be like, well, here comes a new game, so let's never watched it from beginning to end. Kind of like
Sparta was really good.
Yeah.
I liked it. None of the stories in God of War, except I will argue that the story in God of War 1 is really good.
Holy shit.
But all the other ones are not.
Right.
But they're still fun.
Right. They showed Days Gone, which I was pretty hyped about. I actually really liked it.
Sam Witwer. Love that guy.
God damn.
Other than, the only thing I'm kind of like not hot on is that it's more zombies. I'm just like,
they're called freakers, okay? They're called freakers.
Yeah, they sleep and eat. You know what? It doesn't matter.
When I first heard the term freakers, I was like, I'm not calling them that.
I'm not calling them that. Nobody's calling them that. They're called them zombies. Like they're actually called.
I should not have turned this on Survivor.
He's an awesome actor. Most well known for being the guy who was Star Killer in the Force Unleashed games.
Oh, well.
Did you not recognize him then?
I never played Force Unleashed.
Oh, that's a good game.
Fun. Days Gone.
God of War.
That other Last Guardian finally Last Guardian finally got a release date.
A game I couldn't care less about.
I mean, does anyone anymore? Like, I guess people are like, there's like a morbid curiosity about it, but they're just like,
yeah, I have a morbid curiosity, but I don't like either of those other games. So I don't know that I don't like this one.
I liked Shadow of the Colossus. I never finished Eco. It wasn't nearly as good. Personally.
I liked Shadow of the Colossus until I got to like the third boss, and I couldn't figure it out.
I beat Shadow of the Colossus. It was great.
And then I said, forget this. I don't fucking care anymore.
But what else? What else did they show? Kojima,
Resident Evil,
Resident Evil. That was
which I
interesting.
didn't think was Resident Evil.
I mean, I wouldn't have recognized it.
Yeah, like when they were showing it. No, when they were showing it, the Geek Tank people I was talking to were like, "This is Resident Evil, I know it." And I was like, "Why do you think that? Like, what makes you think that?"
Yeah.
Like, this is some new IP. This isn't Resident Evil. And then it popped up, and I was like, "No."
Oh shit. Well, no.
I guess I'm wrong. Coming out really soon.
Yeah,
Surprising.
I played half the demo. I haven't gotten back to it. I played half the demo because it was actually pretty. It gave me anxiety for a little while. Like as the tension started to mount up, I was like, oh shit. It was very much like PT, and I was like, at one point you go down into the basement, and one of your guys goes missing. You're in a group of 3. One of your guys goes missing, and you go down in the basement. You find him. He's like looking away from you and just standing there. And I was like, I was like, buddy, you all right? Hey, buddy. And clearly they want me to go up there, and I was like, I think I'm gonna take a break. And I just didn't come back. I was like, I can't do this right now. Like, too.
I know, beat it like 3 times. They're like so excited.
I know. I haven't gone back. I'm gonna do it pretty soon. I think Elaine and I are gonna do a let's play of it. They keep saying that's not the real ending though that you get, and people on Reddit.
No, Capcom said that there's no hidden things in it. There's no secrets.
I think someone must have said that there's secrets because Reddit is all over it, just like searching for the true ending of that. Just like, oh, what's like this is
sure,
this was different this time. This was different when I did this, and this was different when I did this. Oh my god! Okay.
Because I heard on a podcast that like Capcom came out and said, "Stop looking. There's nothing there." I don't know. Maybe they just don't believe them.
There was Death Stranding.
Yeah. Fascinating, but I literally after I heard about the state of the game afterwards was like, why? Did you
yeah, like you didn't have to show that yet. Like people are gonna be asking about it for years now. Just like, where's Death Stranding? Well, it's not ready.
Well, now you know that for the next 3 E3s, it's not going to be there, and everyone's going to go, Death Stranding's going to get shown, it's going to get a release date. It's like everyone's prediction for the next 3 years.
Yep.
It's not going to happen. They don't even have an engine.
Nope.
Kojima even said that.
Yeah, he was like, I'm just testing shit out.
Yeah, he's like, we just made this for Sony in 2 months. It's like, oh, cool, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely looks
3 years from now.
Definitely looks interesting, and I'm pretty hyped that Kojima's back.
I thought it was fascinating, but I'm only curious because it's Kojima. I'm not curious because of the content.
Right.
The content didn't say anything to me. It was just like, oh, it's gonna be this weird cerebral thing. That's all it told me. And it's got Norman Reedus' ass in it. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
What else did they show real quick? I know they did
They talked about Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
That was exciting.
There's a Days Gone demo, which like after the trailer I was like, oh man, that looks really fun. And then after the
you see, I liked the trailer, and then when they actually showed the game, I was like, it just looks like the thing that I kept hearing people say was that it's second to Last of Us.
Jeez.
I thought that was funny.
I got the exact opposite. Like I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks good. And then I saw the demo and I was like, I'm all in. I gotta have more. But
I'm gonna play it.
Right.
I think it looks good. I just think it looks kind of derivative.
Right.
But again, they've been working on this game for like 5 years, so I don't blame them for having zombies in it.
Yeah.
So.
I think that was, pretty much it that they showed. I mean, Horizon looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to see anymore.
But yeah, like the next day was Nintendo, and they showed an hour's worth of fucking Pokemon.
Yeah,
and I was like, Jesus. Well, they showed an hour's worth of Pokemon first, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't even know you could talk about Pokemon this much. Holy shit. Oh, I'm dead.
I mean, there's competitive Pokemon, so I'm sure they could talk about Pokemon now. They're fine. They're fine.
But then they talked about Zelda, which actually looks really good. Like,
looks great. It looks like everything. So I watched the trailer for the Breath of the Wild trailer.
The Breath of the Wild.
And that didn't get me excited at all.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, this is Zelda. This looks like Zelda.
Sure is
I'm
Zelda.
surprised there's a voiceover, but this looks a lot like Zelda. But they're not showing me anything I haven't already seen. And then it was like Breath of the Wild. I'm like, all right, that didn't tell me literally anything. And then I saw that there was like a gameplay demo where it was like, watch 16 minutes of Breath of the Wild gameplay. So I sat there and watched like 5 minutes of it while they explained it. And I could have kept watching, but I said, nope, you got me. I'm fine. This looks great. I'll come back when it's out. So I'm done looking at it because it looks like everything I wanted Zelda to be. I wanted Zelda to adopt some Skyrim-esque kind of mechanics. Like, let me wander around and pick up stuff. Let me actually like compel me to explore, which was kind of the whole point of the series in the beginning, because it's based on, Miyamoto's. He wanted to emulate the feeling he had as a child, where he wanted to explore caves and forests and stuff. And like, I felt like Zelda hasn't had that in a really long time. And I'm glad that they finally are kind of bringing it into the 21st century. And that it actually looks like a game where I will want to go see what's beyond the horizon, and I will want to delve into that cave and see what's going on in there, and like see what treasures and items I can find and stuff. So. I'm done looking at it. They got me. I'm sold.
Right.
Whether or not I'm buying an NX is a totally different story, because I don't even know what the thing is, and I'm not convinced that it's the savior of Nintendo that everyone seems to think it is, so I'm just going to buy the Wii U version.
Yeah. I just don't know if I'm... Like, I liked what I saw, but I don't know if that was enough for me to buy a Wii U, you know? Like, because... Nintendo really only holds. It's just Zelda for me as far as Nintendo is concerned. So I don't know if that's enough. You know, regardless of how cheap the NX is or the Wii U is now. And
I'm still convinced.
And honestly, with the size of that controller, which I still hate, like. I don't know if I want to get a Wii U.
I'll probably get like a Pro controller with Zelda.
Right.
Or I'll borrow my friend's. My friend has like 3 of them. I'm sure he'll let me borrow one.
Right.
No, I think Breath of the Wild looks great. I can't wait to play it. But yeah, the NX is like just... We had a 30-minute argument about the NX on Geek Tank. Where like... Me and Dave were saying, like, I don't think the NX is going to do anything for Nintendo. I kind of hope it fails, because I'm pretty sure it's going to fail. I just want them to start making Zelda on PS4, you know? And one of our other people was saying, like, it's not that simple, it's a totally different audience, it's a totally different market. And we're like, no, I don't think the market you're talking about even exists, because, like, look at the Wii U, it's obvious that market doesn't exist anymore and stuff, but... Yeah, anyone wants to go check that out.
You know what I forgot to mention though is that after the God of War trailer, like I was so convinced that was a prologue and that you'd end up, God damn it, that you'd end up playing as the kid, that I bet Brian a pizza, and now I owe him a pizza. So
Yeah, you owe pizza because they came out and said that that's not the case.
I was so convinced, but I was wrong.
Watch, that was a lie, and when you play the first 30 minutes of the game, Kratos dies and you do become the kid, you go over to his house and you just shove your hand down his throat and take your pizza back
I'm
a
like, you owe me
year
2 pizzas.
later.
No, he can.
He's like,
I'm not shipping food. All right, this motherfucker can come see me.
yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I think that was it.
Pretty much. Before we go, a real quick, our hearts go out to all the people from Orlando, all that stuff. That was very sad. Very sorry that happened, and we hope that it never happens again. We hope that. I don't know what else to say. There's been so much.
Thank you said it all.
So much that of this kind of thing has happened, and without turning this into without turning this into a political podcast, there's nothing more that we can say. But I really hope that things can kind of get resolved and things get better. Anyway, that's it for the Conversationalist this week. I'm Matt. This is Josh, and I'm probably gonna die again. Go. Oh, no, there we go. If you want to find us on Twitter, I'm Mattman07. I looked up to see if I could change it to Mattman310, and there was some guy that was taking it. And I complained to Leah. I was like, this guy has 127 tweets. All right, he barely uses Twitter. How many tweets do I have? Almost 12 fucking thousand. Fuck him. But if you want to find us on Twitter, I'm Mattman07. Josh is the Java Josh, and if you want to find us on PlayStation Network, then I'm Mattman310, and Josh is Pacpunk. That's Pacpunk. And hopefully you'll find us on Destiny more often. Gotta get Adam and Kyle up on there.
Oh yeah.
So let's see if we can do a game night. I need more videos anyway. So
yeah. We're gonna try and maybe not this weekend because I'm super busy this weekend. I'm out of town, but
I'm supposed to do a Gone Home. I'm supposed to do a Gone Home Let's Beat with Lee this weekend. So I think that'll be fun. But yeah, I would love to do a Destiny game night with the guys. That'll be fun. Okay.
Should be fun.
So that's it for the Conversationalist this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching me die a million times. I should not have put this on Survivor before we started. I should have put it on easy or something so it was more entertaining to watch. But all right, until next week. Bye. I'm pretty sure they can still hear you though.